Well, first, I want to give Vanderbilt a lot of credit for the way they played, especially for the way they started off the first half. I knew they really could shoot the basketball. We'd emphasized that during practice, but actually to see them in person, the way they shot, how fast some of those guys got those shots off, they're a terrific basketball team. I think they're going to have a terrific year, and I think Mark has done a really good job with his group. They play well together, very unselfish, and for us, the areas we got to clean up. We gave up 105 points tonight. That's not who we want to be as a team. They're a high-scoring, high-octane team. We knew that, but our defense has got to be better. We gave up 10 threes in the first half, and that was an emphasis to start in the game is not to give up those threes, and we did. And so we need to find, lineups and guys to understand how important it is to take away what we say we want to take away in the game plan.
They had a significant margin at halftime. They come out second half scoring, but you guys were able to battle back and make it competitive there for a while. What was halftime like, and what did you see in the fight of your team?
Well, at halftime, we emphasized, what they had done well, which was, 10 threes in the first half, and that opened up things for them. They were playing with a lot of confidence. So we wanted to really do a better job at defending the three-point line. I thought we did do that in the second half, to be quite frank. I don't think they shot near the percentage they did in the first half. And so we got better in that area, and that allowed us to get out and run and allow us to play our game. We want to play fast also. And so it put us in a position where we were able to get out in transition and or in the half court and get downhill, get to the basket, and make plays that we want to make. So I thought that helped us. I was really proud of our guys' fight because we can get down as much as we got down in that game in the second half especially. Adversity kind of can reveal who you are individually and as a team. And I thought our guys, showed a lot of grit and a lot of fight, having been down by a large margin, 20-plus in the second half. So that we can work with. We can work with, what those guys showed in the second half, and we can be better.
Coach, you mentioned working with what you got in the second half. You would want to see some of that, more of that intensity and that urgency in the first half, especially at the beginning of the game, though.
Absolutely. Like I said, emphasis of taking away the three, and they had 10 threes in the first half, was not the game plan at all. And so we have to have a better feel for understanding it can't be okay to trade baskets. Like, I think when we were trading baskets to around 15 to 17, around that margin. And I'm looking at our guys going, we can't keep trading baskets, because eventually, if you go through a dry spell and they still hit a few, all of a sudden they opening up a lead. So we got to understand what you have to hang your hat on to be successful. And we have to hang our hat on, defending and getting stops and rebounding the basketball. That's who we have to build our team off of. And I think we didn't understand that until mainly, pretty much the second half is when we got back to kind of doing some of the things that we want to do defensively. And like I said, just with that type of lead, it was just too hard to keep, to get all the way back, especially the way they were playing, with confidence. And so we're going to learn from it.
Coach, you talked about the transition, Vandy, and taking advantage of that aspect, getting 20 points off turnovers against UCF's too. Just what were you seeing from that Vandy's transition game there?
Well, they do a very good job. They're really active. They're really active on the ball defensively at pretty much almost all their positions. So if you're not careful with the basketball and taking care of it, then they're going to turn you over. And they get out and run, and they spread the floor. They shoot quick threes, and they'll get all the way to the basket. And so they make it very challenging for you. A lot of times they have 4 or 5 guys that can all knock down a three. That really spreads the floor open. When you have that many guys that are weapons on the floor, it just becomes really hard to scramble and guard without leaving somebody time and space to take a shot. And that's what you saw happening especially when they turn you over and they got you scrambling defensively.
Would you say you saw improvement taking care of the ball over the last game?
I do. I think we took care of the ball better from the standpoint. We had 12 turnovers. It's still a few too many for us, but I thought we did a better job. It's just that we have to make sure that every possession is important. And I think with all teams, you're trying to teach, and you don't have them for as long as you used to have them understand just how important every possession is, because you got them for 9 months now. So you got to fast forward some of this stuff with, hey, a sense of urgency, understanding the importance of every possession. These are things that we have to constantly teach because you don't have guys as long anymore, so they have to pick it up right away. And so we have to keep instilling those values in our guys. Those are our standards that we have to keep on policing to make sure guys understand exactly what we want out there.
Maybe we're still making too much of it, just 2 games into the season, 4 games total with the exhibitions. But with this roster being so new, is some of this still just trying to to find the formula that you need to win and figuring out how to use the players that you have and still testing some things out there?
Definitely. I mean, we're 2 games into the regular season. To me, every game is a championship game for me. That's just how I coach, and I want my players to play that way. And so we need to learn from the games we've just had. We need to learn from this last game. But as you mentioned, we understand we're still working on rotations. We're still working on, who's capable, which combination of players work well together. All those things have to come to us. They have a number of guys that are returning from an NCAA tournament team last year. So they have some built-in, chemistry and continuity that we're still having to work through. And we're going to get through it. Like I said, as long as we have the fight that we showed, especially in the second half, we can build off of that. It's just a function of having these guys understand how important every possession is, both offensively and defensively, and understanding, how to make connecting plays with each other out there. Because we had some very good individual, performances, but we need to turn those individual performances into overall team performances.
Coach, in the first half, you guys saw Riley take a huge load of the scoring portion of it. Just how do you plan on, getting better as far as having just even distribution of points throughout the whole team, throughout both halves?
Well, that's part of his learning curve. When you become that player, and he's in the process of becoming, for us, like a go-to guy. When you're in that position, you have to understand, 20 minutes, then you have another break, then 20 more minutes, and you have to really stay engaged the whole time because, of course, there's a need for you to be, always in attack mode and aggressive. And he's learning that. He's gotten, from when he got here in June to now, seeing the jumps he's making, the consistency that he's showing, and that he's building on is exciting, because I think I said it maybe last time we were here, his best basketball's still ahead of him. And me watching, him play, and I know he had a good individual performance today, but I can see where there's still a lot more in this young man. It's up to, I think, our team, it's up to our staff to keep on pushing and trying to, get it out of him. But, young man is terrific, and like I said, he can be even better.
And what about the rest of the team just in general as far as their scoring? How do you get more guys to be involved in the offensive earlier in the game? That's
what I mean about the chemistry and continuity. Guys learning one another. Where do I like the ball? Giving it to me in time. Where I got the shot that I really like. That's connecting, and we connect more. Then I think more guys will have opportunities to score more and make more plays for us, and that's going to happen because this team. The one thing about this group, they like each other, and it starts there. I've seen that since this summer. There's a genuine like amongst the players, and when you have that kind of togetherness, it's just a function of us coaching them up and teaching them what they got to do to be successful, and they'll figure it out because they want to win, and they like playing with each other.
Coach, we talked about the turnovers, but what about the takeaways? I mean, this is the first time, at least in my memory, that UCF didn't register a steal the whole game. I know closing out the 3 was a big part, but do you think that's something you got to focus on?
Definitely. I don't think we put enough pressure on them until the second half. Probably the latter part of the second half, like the last probably 13 minutes of the game. I thought, I liked our movement. I liked the force we were playing with during that stretch, and we have to remember what that felt like, and we have to replicate that going forward because that's who we are. We're our team that want to turn you over, and we want to speed you up. That's just the way we play, and because it helps us offensively. So it's a way we play defensively that allows us to kind of get out and run and spread the floor like we want to play, and we didn't do that as well. I thought they did it really well the first 25 minutes of the game. I thought we started, getting better at it the last 15 minutes of the game.
Coach, you talk about that last 15 minutes, even though it wasn't the result you wanted. How do you sort of carry that momentum from the final 10 minutes of the game into the next one?
Well, one, we have to, when we break down this film, I think we can show guys now we have examples of exactly what we want when we show tape to our team. I think that's going to help them understand. They're still trying to figure out, we can have these conversations, but they're still trying to figure it out, as individual players, us as a team. And what we need to do is make sure we're showing them, we're teaching them in practice all the things that we want. Because the things that they did, some of the things they did in the second half were very, very good. We need to build off of those things while getting rid of some of the things, eliminating some of the things that we did poorly, which is, the three-point line, which is for us, You know, the offensive rebounds, them getting, you know, offensive rebound putbacks, you know, things that we work on regularly, and we had breakdowns in that today, and so that was disappointing.
Chris Johnson's obviously missed quite a bit of time at previous schools. What do you feel like he showed you in his minutes tonight, especially during the second half rally?
You know, I was really proud of Chris, you know, because Chris didn't play last game for us, but he was ready when his number was called this game. And that's the type of team we're going to have. I mean, we have depth, and as we're starting to learn about our personnel, guys, when they get their opportunities, you know, need to show what they're capable of doing. And I was really proud of Chris because we had that conversation with the entire team about when your number's called, because it's going to be called, you know, are you going to be ready? Are you going to be prepared? And so when his number was called today, he was prepared. That says a lot about that young man. You know, he took what he happened last game. He didn't get in. He didn't put his head down and sulk. He kept preparing, kept practicing hard, and when his opportunity came, he performed well for us. And that's what you want to see. That's a maturity that you have when you can do that. And so very, very proud of his effort. I thought it was done within our team scope. It was done within what we want to do as a team as well. And so yeah, I think he has a lot of room to grow, and he can build on that.
You know, similar to Bemis led you guys in minutes the night before, or the game before. Only played 19 tonight. Didn't play a lot down the stretch. Was this just a matchup? A difficult matchup in terms of his skill set?
Absolutely, and that's what we're looking at. That's what I'm saying about the makeup of our team. And I love Themis. He's a consummate point guard. He can find guys. I mean, he's a competitor. But we felt tonight, based on what was going on in the first half, we thought, you know, changing up the lineup some. Chris got it going, playing pretty well out there. Riley also played some one for us. So when you have Riley and Chris Johnson today, the way they both were playing at that time, then it's hard to take them out the game. And so, but Themis is going to be there. He's our guy. He's our leader. He's our point. And so, you know, it just was a night where some other guys really made some plays to help our team. And when that happens, everybody has to assume different roles and be, you know, and be a star in whatever role that we have for you that night. And so tonight, Themis did a great job of talking to our guys on the bench, encouraging guys. And when he got his minutes, he was competitive.
Time for two more.
Where's John Bull in his development? Is it certain matchups maybe that aren't, you know, good for him, or, you know, I didn't play very many minutes tonight?
Definitely. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's a game of matchups, and sometimes they have 6, 7 centers who can shoot threes, and that's not the best matchup for a player like John or any true center, because now you out there on the perimeter the whole time guarding guys behind the line. And then, you know, you ask where he is. I mean, he's a puppy. You know, he's not a full-grown dog yet. He's a puppy. And saying that, you know, he still has a lot of, you know, experience to gain, you know, during the season. I don't think he played very much last year as a freshman. And so all these minutes that he's getting are invaluable right now for him. And he's going to cherish them because he's going to look back at the minutes he's gotten over time and realize how much it helped him. So I'm excited for who he can become as a player. He's long, he's 7'2", but he also is just a puppy. He's still, you know, gaining these experiences. Just think, how many games has he really been in college? And so I'm excited for his upside. I think he's going to be a terrific player, and just a process for him just going through game by game.
Coach, kind of building on those past 2 questions with the lineups and usage of center, you guys ran a small ball lineup, especially late into the game. For the majority of the second half, would you say you guys had 1 block? Would you say that kind of is a sacrifice you're willing to make to try to claw back into a game, knowing that it's maybe hindering the defense?
No, absolutely. I don't know if it actually hinders our defense as much. It may hinder block shots because they're not shot blockers, but I don't think it hinders how we defend. I thought actually we defended better in the second half than we did in the first half. You know, I thought, but especially behind the 3-point line. You know, so I think we, you know, when you have J. Michael who can play, he can guard the 1 through the 5. Devin can guard the 1 through the 5. You have guys when we do size down that are capable of guarding bigger players. They're physical. They're strong. We do lack, you know, shot blocking and rim protection, absolutely. But we lose in that. We gain an ability to guard out on the perimeter a little bit better with guys who can cover multiple positions.
Coach,
Last one.
Coach, what do you learn from a test like this that you want to see the team implement now that you got Florida A&M coming next to conclude this opening homestand?
What I want our guys to take from it is that winning is hard, and you have to go out there every single night, and you have to give an amazing effort for 40 minutes. I don't care who you're playing. Names on jerseys never bothered me, and I never bought into, you know, you playing this team is from this league or this name on the jersey, or you playing this other team and doesn't have the same name cachet. I don't believe in that. everybody's good, especially, it was always that way, and now there's even more parity in college basketball. So every single night that you walk on the floor, you're going to have to earn that win. And when we walk on the floor next time to compete, we're going to have to earn that win as well, no matter who we face. And that's how we look at it. And we can do that, take the lessons that we learned from this game, apply them to the next game, and just try to come out better. You know, we have to get better from each one of these experiences we have. That's the ultimate goal for us.
I appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys.
Thanks.